Perfect.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 11 of the Bright Lights Podcast. I'm your host, Deegs, joined as always with my two co-hosts, Mahoney
What's up, guys?
and PT.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
How we doing today, boys? It's been a little while since I've actually seen you guys.
2 days.
I mean, I saw Mahoney the other day. PT, I didn't see you, but how you guys been?
Living life. This thing called J-term kind of sucks ass. But,
Yeah.
what you going to do?
I find
Yeah.
Go ahead, Deegs. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we have a really good podcast planned today. A lot of fun stuff to talk about. I don't want to waste your time or our time, so Mahoney, go ahead, jump right into this, buddy.
All right, so we're back to our call-outs. PT, why don't you just get us going with the first one?
All right, I'm going to stick with some football stuff. We're going to go up north to the Bears' divisional rivals, the Green Bay Packers. Now, as you've known, Mike McCarthy has been fired, and they've been looking for a head coach. They have recently hired Matt LaFleur, if I can pronounce that correctly.
You did.
Awful name.
Who is the offensive coordinator for the Titans. And then also, they recently hired Nathaniel Hackett from the Jaguars to be their offensive coordinator. Now, if you think of the two most unimpressive offenses in the NFL, it's the Jags and the Titans. You have one of the best quarterbacks to ever mankind in football right now, and you pick these two coaches. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, okay, I agree with you, right? The Titans offense dog shit last year. Nathaniel Hackett, I don't think you can blame him completely for the Jags offense being dog shit. He obviously gets some of the blame because, he's the offensive coordinator. But Blake Bortles, come on. Matt Nagy probably couldn't turn Blake Bortles into, a 5-win quarterback.
I could.
PT could.
I could.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I thought the LaFleur hiring was kind of shitty. Everybody's hiring, the super young coaches now because
it's a trend,
Sean
man.
McVay. I mean, can we just realize that, just because someone is young and coached with Sean McVay doesn't fucking make them Sean McVay. Sean McVay is just a genius. I don't understand how to say this. The guy is just a football genius. No one, just because you coached with him doesn't mean you're going to be like him. And that's what every team seems to want.
Well, here's another thing, too. Why is everyone saying they want a Sean McVay? Wasn't Nagy kind of in this whole thing, too?
No, but he's classified as a Sean McVay because he's young. He's not like an Andy Reid, or he's not like a super old offensive-minded head coach that is an old school guy. Like Nagy coached under Andy Reid, but his offenses are different. He's younger. Sean McVay is a young guy. Kyle Shanahan is a young guy too. Everybody wants this new mind where you can bring in an offensive coordinator, a young offensive mind to be your head coach, and then just go the other way. Like Cliff Kingsbury for the Cardinals. That's a terrible fucking signing, dude.
Awful.
He has a below 500 record at college football, and the only reason why he was
maybe he'll do better in the NFL.
The only reason he was relevant was because of Pat Mahomes. I don't understand how people don't realize how terrible of a signing that was.
Yeah, it's bad, dude. That was my call out. The Packers, it was kind of just shocked me. I like it because I'm a Bears fan, but it is kind of shocking that you couldn't find anything better for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, so staying with the call-outs, I just want to put a little side remark out there about how effing hard it was to get our call-outs this week because nothing has been happening. But my call-out, going to baseball. A lot of shit going on with baseball lately, hasn't it been, Deeks?
Yeah. It's so fun.
I'm already aggravated. I haven't even started talking about it. What the fuck is the media doing with baseball and the free agency? They're making up a bunch of shit just so they can get clicks, and it's driving me nuts. Machado's agent put John Heyman and Bob Nightingale in a body bag.
Yeah,
did you see what he posted, right? About how they're so wrong
and everything.
Why even think the 7 years, $175 million. Don't even get. Okay, I'm getting started with it. Okay, if the White Sox seriously offered that, there is no way in hell Machado would see that offer,
and say,
think of it as disrespect, say fuck off, and go sign with the San Diego Padres, Deeks.
But
Dude, 7 years, 175.
That's a
is,
slap
like,
in the face to Manny Machado.
That's blatant. Like, Draft Nick Mark tweeted this, so I'm gonna give him credit for it. Like, that's just blatant disrespect. That's fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
If that is like, maybe Machado's aging is just like, if that's the actual offer, that's fucking pathetic. That's awful.
Yeah.
But,
So
yeah,
when you texted me and you said like, "Oh, this is bullshit," whatever, and I gave my 2 responses, it was 1, I'm really excited because we'll get him dirt cheap, and 2, we're gonna fucking lose him because of how bad that offer is.
Yeah, dude, and like, okay, there's been a lot of reports. Like, first of all, nobody knows anything, right? So
No.
anybody that says any report about Machado Harper is a fucking idiot because nobody knows anything
No.
about what's going on. John Heyman doesn't know anything. Ken Rosenthal doesn't know anything. Bob Nightingale's a moron, so no one should ever listen to him.
No.
John Paul Morosi doesn't know absolutely anything. Nobody knows anything about
Like
these
Bruce
guys.
Levine, that fucking ass.
But I've seen a lot of things come out, and I don't believe any media sources anymore whatsoever.
Zero.
But I believe this just because just looking at the market for Manny Machado, there's been a lot of people saying that he doesn't give a shit where he plays as long as he's getting a lot of money.
A lot of
right?
money,
That's
yeah.
all he cares about is a shit ton of money. So I don't think it would be too far fetched for if, let's say, they offer 7,175 or even 8,200, right? Because 8,200 is not a lot for Manny Machado. For a team just to come out of nowhere and be like, look, dude, we'll give you 8 for 250. Come play with us, and he'll go play there. Like, he only cares about the money. Obviously, like, no disrespect to the White Sox, but people aren't dying to go play in Chicago.
No, obviously not. Yeah.
People aren't dying to go play in Philadelphia. There's a reason why his favorite team to play for was the Yankees. Not one because he was a Yankees fan growing up, but 2, like, they're probably the best team in baseball right now.
Yeah, and we'll get to that later, which is even more bullshit. But okay.
From a roster standpoint, they're probably the best team in baseball. But
yeah,
dude, I don't know. The media is much morons, but nobody knows anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if either one, the White Sox get him for 8,200, which I still think is very cheap because of the fact that they're doing the same thing that Boston did with JD Martinez last year, and it's absolutely fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. They're just waiting it out until they're the only option left. He's gonna get desperate because spring training starts in like a month, and he's just gonna sign there. But I don't think it's far fetched and out of reality for a team like the Padres, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Padres fan, or a team like anybody that has a shit ton of cap space to just go out there, throw 8 years, $250 million at him, and then Machado just signing there. Like that wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, dude, the media, they're a bunch of morons. John Heyman's a moron. Bob Nightingale, I hate that guy.
Yeah, I can't stand him anymore.
I despise him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
all right,
it's
so
stupid.
Just going off this a little bit more. This isn't really part of the call out, but I'm curious because I'll give my side first, and then you give me yours. And PT, if you want to chime in, go right ahead. The media. I really think that because of this offseason, they're going to put a cap on what they can and can't say. Because the fact that they're spilling all this bullshit is making not only the fans restless, but the players, when they see these random rumors about themselves that they have no idea about.
Yeah.
Bob Nightingale tweeted something. Sorry, PT, to cut you off. He tweeted the only thing I've ever seen in my entire life that he's ever tweeted that actually makes sense. And he tweeted something earlier today, and he was like that all this stuff that's coming out, about all the restlessness, the fan bases, and everything, it's pissing the players off too. It's pissing them off a lot. Because there's a bunch of fake news, like, that Dan Clark guy came out and said Machado's going to the Yankees, right? And they're out on him. Then a lot of people are saying, Machado's going to Chicago, or they gave him 7 for 175. Nobody knows anything, honestly, except for Manny Machado and his agent, probably. So, yeah, dude, I don't know if we want to dive into this right now, but the baseball players' bargaining agreement, or whatever it's called, is up in 2 years, and I'm seriously like 85% convinced that there's going to be another strike, because
that scares me and should scare you too, because that's our window.
Those are our team's window, and I'm not just scared about that like from a Padres standpoint. I'm scared of that from like a baseball fan standpoint, because you look at this from a numerous different points of view. The players aren't happy, right? One, there's a lot of players that are getting severely underpaid, like severely underpaid. Manny Machado should be making $35 to $40 million a year. He's that good. You have minor league players who are making more than if I worked at Burger King for a whole year, I would make more money than some minor league players, right?
It's
you have
bad.
cheap-ass owners that are raising ticket prices like nothing and are unwilling to pay their superstars, these superstar players. We talked about this last week. There is no reason why there should be 3 teams in on Manny Machado and Bryce Harper combined. Every single team in baseball can afford them. Baseball last year made like $12 billion in revenue, in profits. Yeah. Teams like the Marlins and the Padres, who were awful, were profitable organizations because of how high the ticket prices are and how expensive everything is when you go to a baseball game. There's just a lot of shit between like the players and the owners, and people are unhappy. And there's gonna be another strike, dude.
That's gonna suck.
It's gonna suck eternally because just as a fan standpoint, it's gonna be terrible. But like this off season and last off season are leading up to it. There's going to be another strike, and it's because of all this unhappiness and like these owners being so damn cheap that they don't want to pay these guys when they don't realize that if you sign Manny Machado to a 10-year, $300 million contract, by the time he's done, that contract is going to get paid back just because of who he is. You're going to get more season ticket prices going up. You're going to get more jerseys. More people are going to come. Your team's going to be good, and you make more money when you win. Yeah. Because if you go in the playoffs, players get bonuses. People are going to want to come play there. Like, you're going to make more money. So it sucks. It sucks that people don't look at it this way, but I think it's kind of inevitable at this point that there's probably going to be a strike coming once that CBA comes up.
Yeah. I think that pretty much does it with my call out. Just aggravating overall, but Deegs, you can go ahead, buddy.
I'm staying baseball, and I'm calling out whoever the hell handles the guy, whoever gets suspended in Major League Baseball, right? Like who gets suspended for games. I'm pretty sure it's the commissioner, but if you guys don't know, this is kind of an under the radar thing.
No, I heard about it.
Eric Skoglund,
the
Kansas City Royals, got suspended half of the season for testing positive for steroids. Last year, Forrest Whitley, top right-handed pitching prospect in all baseball, got suspended 50 games for testing positive for PEDs or whatever. And you have a lot of guys that get suspended for PEDs for half the year, for a full year, for 50 games, depending on whatever it is. And Addison Russell's only missing 28 games to start the season, right?
Yeah.
And if you remember a while ago, Aroldis Chapman, when the whole thing went down with his wife or whatever, he only got suspended like 30 games. You had Uris Familia, he only got suspended like 30 games for the domestic violence thing. So I just think it's really stupid that guys that are physically causing harm and like doing things that could possibly require jail time are only getting suspended for 25 games when someone who is just doing something that I understand it's cheating, but like it's not a federal crime to take steroids, is getting suspended for half a year. We've seen guys get banned from the game of baseball. The guy from the Mets for testing positive like
3 times
2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I think it was 3.
Yeah, or whatever it was. The guy got suspended for banning. He got banned from the game of baseball forever. But
that's the stupidest thing ever.
Russell was probably one of the shittiest human beings in the whole game, and he's suspended 25 games, and he'll be fine. And going on that call out, I also want to call out the Chicago fucking Cubs, dude. The fact that piece of shit is still on their roster is pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. First of all, he's not a good baseball player anymore, right?
Oh no.
When they got him, he was like a top 5 prospect in all baseball. The guy, people were saying, "Oh, he's gonna win an MVP or 2. He's gonna be one of the best shortstops in baseball." The only value he brings is on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to hit like 230 with probably like 15 home runs, be your 8 hitter. He is a very good defensive player. I'll give you that. He's
fantastic. Yeah.
But there's a point where you just got to let that guy go, right?
Yeah.
And perfect example in other sports. We referred to this one a lot. Kareem Hunt, all-pro running back, top 5 back in football when he's healthy. Honestly, if he's on the Chiefs right now, I know Damian Williams is playing great, but long term, you look at Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce. They have a dynasty in the making right there. If they have a guy like Kareem Hunt in their backfield, at least a dynasty on the offensive side of the football. And they did the right thing, right? Obviously, what he did, I don't think was bad, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad as what Ray Rice did, or even you could argue what Addison Russell did and all that stuff.
Addison Russell has done it on 3 separate occasions.
Exactly, right? And the Chiefs did the right thing. They let go of a superstar, right? And the Cubs can't let go of a guy who hit 230 when you could have Baez very calmly put Baez over at short, put Ian Happ or Bodie or Ben Zobrist, or even now you sign Dalen DeScalzo, so you play him at second base. But no, they just got to hold on to this guy for some reason. And I'm not the only one. I'm not a Cubs fan. I've seen a lot of Cubs fans on Twitter. They're really pissed off that he's still on the team, and they should be, right? Like he's not. He's a piece of shit human being. He's not that good of a. He's not good enough. For me, there's no standard to be good enough. Like if you do something that warrants a federal crime, you should not be on a baseball team. If Mike Trout beat the shit out of his girlfriend, I think he shouldn't be on the baseball team. Like you are a piece of shit of a human being. You should not be doing that. You should go rot in prison. Yep. But yeah, dude, that's bullshit, and the whole suspension thing is bullshit, and it's stupid. It's really stupid because you see other leagues like the NFL, for example, where they take action. A lot of people complain about the NFL, the suspensions, the Tom Brady thing. I can understand that, but when someone beats the shit out of someone, especially like their pregnant girlfriend, or they vividly like beat the shit out of them in an elevator, fuck them. Like they should be suspended for a whole year, like Ray Rice was. So yeah, dude, when you do it one time, second chances, but you do it 3 fucking times, you're a piece of shit. He should not be on an MLB roster. Fuck that guy. That's my call out.
Agreed. All right, so I think that does the call outs, PT. We can move over to actually, you know what? Here, I'll recap the picks. So Deegs, buddy.
No, I know. I had a bad week. PT's got to be in first.
You didn't have a bad week at all. You went 3-1.
Right now? Oh, I went 3-1.
Yeah. So. Okay. So each game counted as four games last week, or 4 points. So Deegs, you went 12-4. PT went 8-8, and I went 8-8. Deegs, you're 65-39. PT, you're 61-43, and I'm 57-47.
The way you opened that segment was like that I just blew my first place lead and PT passed me. You're like, Deegs, buddy. Like, you're about to tell me that.
No, I meant Deegs, buddy, as in, dude, you're still in first place. Like,
okay. Oh, all right. Bet.
Yeah, but that can change this upcoming weekend when games are 8 points, or 8 games.
Yeah,
so that's going to be interesting. So, PT, go ahead and get us in these games.
All right. We'll start with our Sunday game at 2 o'clock. This is the NFC Championship. We got the Rams at New Orleans. This is gonna be both these games are gonna be unreal. Now we're getting down to the season where there's no more shitty games, no more shitty teams. These are the real legit teams that should be there. They're gonna be good games. They're gonna be toss-ups. I mean, they really could be toss-ups. They could go. You could have pros and cons for why both teams can win. New Orleans played at home last week. Did not play up to their expectations. Drew Brees kind of put everyone on their back and carry them out. I would love to pick New Orleans because they're at home, because they're supposed to be the hardest place to play at during this playoff run. But the Rams look good, man. The Rams look good.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus Peters is fired up. He wants to just stick his head in anywhere he can this next week. Gurley's healthy. Goff will be playing indoors, so there's going to be no issues, hopefully, with him. I'm still gonna put my money on Drew Brees. He wants to go win a Super Bowl. I think New Orleans is gonna beat the Rams at home.
Deegs, you go ahead, buddy. I want to hear your pick.
This is tough, dude. This is real tough. The Saints looked like shit in the first half last week until basically the whole Eagles team decided to like break, and because they're all made of glass. They probably wouldn't even be playing in this game if Alshon caught that football.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but fuck Jeffrey, right?
Fuck Jeffrey.
Fuck Jeffrey.
Breeze, what can I say, dude? Absolute surgeon in the second half last year. Sliced that defense apart. The Rams, they're hot, man. They're hot. Yep. They have a very good running back tandem. Todd Gurley looks healthy. C.J. Anderson, take it for what you want, man. He's a baller. Jared Goff's playing well. You know, they basically dominated the Cowboys. The score doesn't indicate that, but the Cowboys really didn't have a chance to win that game. I think the Rams were dominating them pretty much the whole game. This is a tough game. It's a rivalry game. You know, they don't like each other. Marcus Peters, You heard what he said. He wants to come out and bust that team. I'm sure Sean Payton doesn't like them either because he's the one that pretty much started the whole rivalry. Oh, it's so hard,
So
dude.
hard, man.
I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
well,
gonna go with the Rams. I think they're gonna go in New Orleans. Like I said, I don't trust the Saints after seeing what they did last week.
yeah, I agree. I don't really trust the Saints either. Drew Brees is still one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation, no doubt about it. But I don't know. I think it's the Rams' time. I
think it
really
is too,
do.
man.
I think the Rams are about to take over. I've got the Rams winning this game. I know that it's in New Orleans, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So, this is going to be a great game, no matter what.
I'm so excited, dude.
Oh, it's going to be a great game, but I've got the Rams winning.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this could be a toss-up. I'm just gonna take that one edge of that the possibility that it's a home game and that any team could use any advantage they can, man.
Yeah, I don't fault you at all for taking New Orleans. To be
No,
honest with you.
No. I mean, you can't fault anyone for anything.
Up
really.
until the last second when I said I'm taking, I was gonna say the Saints. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was gonna say I'm taking the Saints, but it's just
No.
I have a feeling about this one
No,
that the Rams are gonna win this game.
No, yeah, I can't fault you either. All right, we'll move on. 5:00 game. New Orleans, or not New Orleans, sorry. The Patriots at Kansas City. It's not going to be as cold as everyone said it was going to be. They're saying like maybe
Blizzard,
single
basically.
digits. Yeah, they said it's not going to be that cold. I bet against New Orleans I keep on saying New Orleans, New England. I bet against New England last weekend. Tom Brady kind of shoved it up my butt and said "F you."
He did.
So
He definitely did.
I definitely did. This, like I said, this is another. You can't go wrong with your pick here. You got Tom Brady with the GOAT in the playoffs, and then you got this shiny new car, Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna go out there and he's gonna put something on for you every time. They're at home. Arrowhead's also hard to play at. Last time it came down to a kick at Foxborough, and this time Kansas City's gonna win at home by 3 again. And they're going to win. Patrick Mahomes is going to put them in this position to win.
Mahoney, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to hear you, Deeks.
Fuck. This one is so hard, dude. Right. Like you said, the Patriots won at the first time they played. It was at Foxborough. It's real hard to beat them. Actually, nobody's beat them at Foxborough this year.
Yep.
You know what the crazy thing was? I was looking back at this today, and I was like, holy shit, when I saw this. The Chiefs won last week, and Patrick Mahomes didn't even throw for a touchdown.
And you know who did throw it?
He ran for one. Tyreek Hill ran for one. Darrell Williams ran for one, and Damian Williams ran for one. So they beat the Colts without him even throwing for a touchdown.
Yeah.
The Patriots, the final score of that Chargers game, 41-28. They beat the shit out of them. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
These games are so hard to pick.
They're going to be so fun to watch, though.
They're going to be so fun to watch, but I know it's at Kansas City. I know that the Kingdom's a hard place to play at. I'm not ever in my entire life betting against Tom Brady until somebody proves me wrong. Fuck it. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Wow.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
I remember you said something about how Patrick Mahomes, there's something about him that he's going to.
Yeah, no, dude. I'm taking the Chiefs. They're
and how
probably
can you not
gonna
like
lose.
a guy like Mahomes?
Dude,
Like,
he's
honestly.
awesome.
They're probably going to lose, but I'm Kingdom.
Well, so I'm gonna go against both you guys. I'm taking the Pats. I myself, all of the Super Bowl memories that I have are with Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean the guy's been in 9 straight AFC championships.
No,
so.
I know. I'm not ready to close the book yet on Tom Brady. This is a tough one too, because like PT said, you got the old, kind of nice but beat up truck, and you got the nice new shiny
Ferrari,
car
baby.
with Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think I'm going to give this truck one last ride. I think this is I do believe this is the last ride for the truck.
I don't know, dude.
I think it's the last ride, but I think that we will see because Tom Brady. What's that video that came out of him lately, working out to that one song?
I don't know what it was, but yeah, that video.
It's hilarious.
I fucking hate that guy so much. God,
He's so
I hate
cringy. He's so
the
cringy.
fact that he still plays football, it pisses me off, dude. I hate that guy so much.
How can you hate him though?
But Mahoney, he has abused my team for the last 15 years.
Yeah,
They
you're
just
right.
beat him for the first time in 8 years this year.
Dude.
8 years, and they play them every single year.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, yeah, I mean, I got the Pats winning. Nothing really to talk about. I mean, you guys already talked about it. It's going to be a great game, fun game to watch. I'm excited for football this weekend.
Yeah, me too. I'm hyped.
It's gonna be nuts.
It's gonna
Like
be
I'm
lit.
gonna be glued to my TV, and if anyone tries to mess with me, they're probably gonna punch in the face. All right. This is one of the most exciting times of the year because all people are just going. Everyone's going out. They're gonna be playing great football, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Like we said, so get out. Make sure everyone's watching. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I think that does it for football. I think you guys got anything else to add?
No, dude. I mean, you got the 4 best offenses in the league. Don't expect to see a lot of defensive play in these games, man. These are going to be shootouts, and I hope they're shootouts because that's good. No one wants to I love grit and grind football, like good old-fashioned Pittsburgh football where the final score is like 14-10 and the Steelers win because they get like a 4th and inches stop on like the 3-yard line.
Or Boswell slips and misses a field goal.
Yeah, which they would lose the game, dickhead, not win.
And then
But no, there's gonna be fireworks this weekend. I'm so excited.
Yeah, dude. And you know what, though? The AFC-NFC championship game in the Super Bowl is when people really start watching that usually don't watch football. So the fact that it's going to probably be a shootout just adds to that. So I'm going to be interested to see all the hype around football.
Even if you look at, I have my supposed Super Bowl right now, based on my picks, are Chiefs-Rams, right?
Yep.
And if you remember, they played earlier in the season, and the final score was 54-51. Like, if the Super Bowl was anywhere near that, even if it's like 45-42 or 48-45, that's going to be great for the game of football. You're going to get so many new people that are going to start watching the game because everybody watches the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
Even people who don't give a shit about football at all, they go to Super Bowl parties and everybody watches the game. So I'm excited, and this is really good. Having these 4 teams, while I wish, obviously you two wish the Bears were in it, I wish Pittsburgh was in it.
Yep.
But this is a really good thing for the game of football.
Oh yeah, for sure. Real quick, I want to add something real quick.
Go right ahead, buddy.
Everyone pick your burst out players of the week. Who's gonna make the difference? Who's gonna be the difference in winning their game this week? All right, I'll start off.
Hey, both games or for each game?
Just pick one for the whole weekend. All right.
Okay.
Mine's gonna be Tyreek Hill.
Oh, that's fucking simple. He's like the fastest guy on the planet.
Okay, and that's why he's gonna be a breakout. Okay, who's gonna be yours?
Oh, dude, you can't put me on the spot. Give me a second.
Marvin,
I got mine. Right?
Go
I
ahead,
know
go ahead.
this goes against everything I just said by you calling out Tyreek Hill. I'm gonna go Aaron Donald. Right?
I was going to say Aaron Donald, so give me a second.
Aaron Donald, probably, I hate to say this because, Khalil Mack's great. He's probably the best pass rusher in football, even though he's a D tackle. That's absurd. I think he's going to be big. I think the Saints' offensive line is battered, and while Drew Brees is a great quarterback, you got to remember he's 40 years old. Guy doesn't move as well as he used to. I think Aaron Donald, and honestly, that whole front seven with Michael Brockers, Dante Fowler, and Ndamukong Suh, who he hasn't played that well this year, but I wouldn't be surprised. That linebacker like Okawakoro or whatever, he's good. But I'm gonna go Aaron Donald, and I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Donald gets a closing sack in on a 4th and 6 to win the game or something. He's the best defensive player in football. You can't pick against the guy.
No. So I'm gonna stick with the Rams. He hasn't been himself as of late, but I think he's gonna really need to be a key player this weekend. Todd Gurley. He really needs to step it up and really be the player that he's meant to be. So yeah, I think he's gonna be the big player this week.
One guy I do want to say, I didn't pick them to win, but watch out for Gronk this weekend. Okay? Gronk has not been himself all year. He hasn't been anything of what he has been in his entire career. Watch out for Gronk this weekend if New England's going to pull this game out against the Chiefs.
Yeah, definitely agree. Anything else you guys want to add for football?
I don't believe so.
No, I'm good.
No? All right, so now let's go on to baseball, and let's talk about the Yankees. They signed Adam Ottavino today to a 3-year deal. So I think with this signing, it truly takes them out on Machado.
Yeah, they're out.
Yeah,
they're
definitely. Out. But what the hell?
Yeah,
how much better can they get?
It's unfair.
Did you hear he took a pay cut too?
I would too, dude. He's gonna. Okay? Look at their bullpen, right? If you look at,
I don't want to. Like, they're already scary.
Look at from an Adam Ottavino perspective. Last year, he wasn't the closer because obviously they had Wade Davis, but he was like the Rockies' go-to guy. Like they're in a high leverage situation. Adam, get up, get loose. We're bringing him in right now. This is fucking stupid. I was listening to Draft Neck Mark's video, right? A Yankees starter could go 4 innings and they would be fine.
Oh, they could.
They
honestly,
would be just fine.
They would be the best for the opener.
Chapman, Betances, Chad Green, what's his name? Zach Britton, and Adam Ottavino. Adam Ottavino is the 4th guy out of their bullpen. That's absurd. Like, I know he was really shitty in 2017. He had a really good year last year. Ottavino, he was terrible.
Yeah.
He had a phenomenal year last year. The walks are so high, but like the walks aren't high because his command is terrible. The walks are high because he's so nasty that his stuff moves that much. It's just ridiculous. Like his slider has like complete. It breaks on the whole plane. But yeah, there's no pressure for him now. You're gonna see him in like the 6th inning, in like a 4-1 ball game where he can just go out, throw 100, and throw his slider 8 times and have to worry about it. Just flap his dick everywhere because it doesn't matter what he does. It's ridiculous, dude.
No, it
the
is.
Yankees, they had the best bullpen in baseball last year, and then they had the best bullpen in baseball. Now it just got 3 or 4 times better with Ottavino. It's stupid.
Yeah. So I'm gonna help the Yankees out here. I'm gonna give them a little marketing tip here. Marketing major. I'll help them out a little bit. Remember in the beginning of the offseason when he said that he can strike out Babe Ruth?
Yeah.
Bobblehead. Do a bobblehead series. Make people come to 2 different games and have them like connect to each other.
That's genius.
With Ottavino pitching on one side and Ruth on the other.
That's genius. That's wonderful. I do want to talk about this, right?
Go ahead.
So, real quick. You look at the American League as a whole, right? And we could probably, all 3 of us could agree that it's a 4-team race for who's going to come out of the American. Probably only a 3-team race at this point.
Who's the 4th team?
Boston, New York, the Astros, and Cleveland. If Cleveland doesn't trade
Cleveland's not. No, they're not relevant.
Yeah, they have the best pitching rotation in baseball when they're healthy. They have
no lineup though.
J. Ram, Lindor. Yeah, I mean their offense isn't that good, but pitching wins championships.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, when Bauer, Kluber, Carrasco, Shane Bieber, Mike Clevenger, all those guys are nasty. But obviously, the Red Sox won the World Series last year. They haven't really done much, to be honest with you. If you look at their additions and who they've lost, they added Uvalde. They locked him up long term. They brought back Steve Pearce. Take that with what you want. I mean, good leader, probably a decent guy. Mitch Moreland's injury prone. But I don't think you're going to get the same production you got out of Steve Pearce last year.
No.
The biggest thing with Boston is their bullpen, right? You lost Craig Kimbrell, who's, when he's on, probably the best closer in baseball. Who the fuck do they have in their bullpen? They lost Joe Kelly, too.
Yeah.
Those are their 2 best relievers. You got, like, Tyler Thornburg.
Stephen Wright.
Matt Andriese. Like, they're like the Cubs. They won, and they've done nothing to improve that team. So, right now, it's hard to bet against the Red Sox, obviously, because they're coming off a World Series championship where they just dominated the whole playoffs, including a destruction of the Yankees. But, dude, it's so hard to pick against the Yankees right now.
No, I know. They look unreal.
Their pitching rotation got better. They have by far the best bullpen in baseball, and you need a good bullpen to win in the playoffs. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I have a real hard time picking against the Yankees, and Boston has to do something. Whether it be, I mean, there's not very many relievers left on the market but Kimbrell, so you either bring him back. Even with him, you need more than just one guy who only pitches 1 inning. Relievers only pitch 1 inning, 1.5 or 2 at best. So you gotta go make some trades, man. You gotta do something. You gotta part with your young guys. It's because you're the Boston Red Sox. You can't think about the future when you have the evil empire right next to you, literally building a dynasty in right in front of us. So I don't know, dude. It's gonna be interesting, but I'm not picking against New York right now if I have a gun to my head to win the whole thing.
Oh yeah, no. The Yankees are the favorite, I think, as of now to win it. So sticking with MLB free agency. I mean, honestly, nothing has happened so far. We already touched on Machado. So I'm just curious. to hear what you think about MLB. I heard this from somebody, I forgot who it was, about MLB free agency starting to have a penalty on how late people sign to kind of hurry up the process.
I think it's a good idea. Okay, here's how I'm going to approach this, right? Because this is probably a really controversial topic for some people. While I do think it's a good idea, because I think it's really stupid that stars, right, like JD Martinez, who almost won the Triple Crown last year, had two teams in on him, and two didn't sign till halfway through spring training. And take it what you want, Hosmer down a year last year. When he's healthy and when he's at his best, he's a top 5 first baseman in baseball. Didn't sign till a week into the season, right, or a week into spring training. But I don't think that would ever happen. I think it's a good idea because, one, this year the offseason has sucked.
Oh, it's been awful.
Last year's offseason sucked. But, it would have to be – I don't know if they would ever adopt that, because people would be losing money and,
Or how about this? I'm going to change it up.
It's also, in a way, though, whatever penalty you give is the league forcing people to hurry up and sign.
True.
And that's kind of like the league forcing. I'll give you a good example, right? Bryce Harper, okay? If this so-called penalty thing was to exist, let's say that Bryce Harper really wants to sign with the Chicago Cubs. That was his dream destination, right? Has his mindset on going to the Cubs. In order for him to do that, the Cubs would have to clear salary, right? They'd have to get rid of Hayward. They would have to attach other pieces to clear up some cap space to get him. There's obviously not a cap space in baseball, but you know what I mean. Stay under the
luxury tax.
As under the luxury tax as possible. Well, that takes time, right? The Cubs can't just trade Hayward in one day, because they have to call around the league. They have to ask who wants him. They have to make the deal work where the salary's even out. They probably have to do some scouting, get some medical reports on the guy's young prospects. This takes time. So I feel like if you force someone, or not force them, if you rush someone to sign, you're forcing them to pick somewhere where they may not want to play, and it also takes it's a negative effect on the teams, because they have to rush this process. They have to accelerate something. They might have to get a lesser return on Jason Hayward when they could have potentially got a better return, because they have to hurry up and clear some room to bring a guy like Harper in. So I think it's a good idea, right? Because these offseason sucks, and I think it's bullshit that players are joining and not getting the chance to gel with their teammates because they're signing a week into spring training. But for me, it'd be really hard for me to envision that happening because of all the other things around it. But I want to hear what you were going to say.
Okay.
Changing it up a little bit.
So instead of a penalty, what if we give teams a certain amount of time that they can spend a certain amount of money? Say with the Harper Machado, right? Say we have. Okay, let's say until New Year's, right? Until New Year's, that's more than enough time. Is as long as you can go to do $300+ million deals.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That is a lot more likely than
the penalties, the fees.
Yeah, than fees, because people are losing money and all that stuff. But yeah, because if you look at it, right, theoretically speaking, if your team doesn't make the playoffs, your season ends at the beginning of October, right? And even if you win the World Series, you're probably playing the very end of October, and in very rare cases, the first week of November. So even if you're a World Series team, you have 2 whole months to clear up some room. And if you're not if you're not a playoff team like the Sox or the Padres, you have 3 months to clear up some room to bring these guys in. So I agree. That is plenty of time to clear some cap and make space to bring these guys in. That's a lot more likely than fees. And anytime you involve taking money away from something, it's probably not going to happen, especially in baseball, because as much as baseball is a game, it's also a business, right? So that is probably not as likely to happen. But if you put a cap, because baseball doesn't have a cap, but if you put a cap on this, it's not a bad idea. We see this in other sports, right? And I'll give basketball basketball is pretty much the predominant example where you have a mid-level exception. Every single team, if you trade someone, the league gives you like an extra $4 million, or depending on how much that player they deem is worth to spend. But you only have up until the trade deadline to spend that mid-level exception, right? So if I want to go out and sign, for example, DeMarcus Cousins, if I wanted to sign him for $5 million, I got to use. It's not the trade deadline. I'm a fucking moron. It's there's a deadline for it. Is what I'm saying. For you to use that $4 to $5 million that is given to you by the league, or else it goes away. Like they just take it back. Like you can't use it. So yeah, I mean there is things like that exist. Obviously in football we have the franchise tag. You have a deadline for when you can tag someone. If not, you can't tag them. You have a deadline for the transition tag, or else you can't use that money anymore. Like you can't tag someone in like week 14 because the deadline's like week 7. Right, so I don't think it's a bad idea.
I honestly don't think it's going to happen. Just thought it'd be interesting.
I don't think it'll happen, but it's a lot more likely than what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I feel like there's something else I wanted to add. How do you feel right now about where Harper and Machado are going to sign? Just real quick, where do you think?
All right, Harper, I have a really hard time seeing him not in a Phillies uniform.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, and because like you know how they talked about like their dream is Kimbrel, Keuchel, Harper, or they talked about Harper, Trout in their future. I think we're going to see the Phillies start to employ that philosophy they had
stupid money,
the season. Yeah, the whole stupid money thing, right? Machado, I'm going to tell you this right now. Okay. 2 days ago, I had it like a 95% chance this dude was going to come play in Chicago, right? And I still think there's like a 68 to 60 to 70% chance that he goes to play in Chicago. But
if you had to pick a team for Machado, who would it be?
The White Sox. Yeah, the White Sox. I would not be surprised if some
mystery team came and got him.
Came out and offered him 8 for $250, and he told the White Sox to go fuck themselves, and he signed there. Is what I was trying to say. Right, but Bob Nightingale tweeted this, and fuck that guy. But I kind of agree with him. It's going to be, and we talked about this even in our free agency picks like 2 months ago. The Phillies are getting one of them. They're getting one of them, and whoever
I
gets
said
one,
the Sox were going to get one, and the Phillies were going to get one. So we'll see how that works.
But yeah. I don't know, dude. It's stupid that these are generational talents that we don't know anything at all. Nobody knows anything. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I like you. I think Harper's going to Philly. I think Machado's going to the Sox. PT, what do you think?
Yeah, I can see Harper definitely being some red pinstripes next year. And to be honest with you, I have literally been so confused in the last couple of days with all the media stuff. Like I said, I thought he was a for sure Chicago White Sox a couple days ago, and now like, dude, I don't even know what to think. Like I couldn't even tell you like what's in anyone's mind right now because it's obviously all fake.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Obviously, the White Sox can match anybody's offer.
Yeah.
Right? They have a shit ton of cap space. If like I'm not saying this because I'm a Padres fan. Okay, I want to throw that out there.
Go ahead.
But if the Padres came out and offered Machado 8 years for $250 million, and the White Sox could match that, right? I'm looking at your guys' like roster construction going down. I don't know if, and I don't think it's a good idea for the Padres. Obviously, I want Machado. Obviously, you want Machado on the White Sox. I don't know if you bring a guy when your team is still 3 to 4 years away and pay him that much money. Right?
For the Sox or the Padres?
For both of our teams.
Oh, yeah.
If the White Sox or the Padres got him at 8 for $200, fuck yeah, dude. Rick Hahn or AJ Preller or whoever gets him at 8 for $200 is a goddamn genius. Okay, that's cheap. 8 years, $250. That's the kind of deal like the Yankees throw out, or like the Red Sox, if they had a need for him, throw out. Small market teams that are rebuilding. I don't know if you bring a guy in like that. And the biggest example of this is Eric Hosmer, right? Padres bring him in at 8,144. Obviously, it's not 8,250, but 8,144 is $20 million. The way his contract is structured is it's $20 million for the first 5 years. After that, for years 6, 7, and 8, it goes down to $13 million, right? and he played like shit last year. Absolutely, like 255 for some people isn't shitty. For a guy who's making $20 million, it's fucking terrible. And Hosmer, like when you look at his numbers, he tends to have better years in odd years. I understand that, blah blah blah. But I don't know, dude. That was to me a bad signing because we had Will Myers playing at first. We have a ton of good first base prospects too. And I think teams are looking at Hosmer specifically and are hesitant to give out these big-ass contracts, for especially rebuilding teams. Because if the White Sox wanted Machado, right, and if obviously they want him, but knowing that he wants to pay for money, they could just throw out 8 years, $250 million, and they would get him immediately. He would sign there immediately. So I don't know, dude. It's a lot to take in. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You don't know what's going on.
No
PT,
idea.
you have no idea what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on.
Nightingale doesn't know. Heyman doesn't know.
Nobody knows. I know as much about Manny Machado right now and where he wants to play than John Heyman does, right? So we'll see how it pans out. Hopefully these guys sign within. I hope to God they sign within the next week.
Every morning we just wake up and are like, what the hell? Can you guys just sign?
Last year, when the Padres signed Hosmer, I remember it perfectly. I woke up at 3 a.m. to pee, right? I walked from my bed to go to the bathroom, right? And as I picked my phone up to look at it while I was peeing, okay, I get a tweet notification, Bob Nightingale, the San Diego Padres have signed Eric Hosmer to $144 million, and I could not sleep the rest of the night because I was so happy. I want that shit to happen with Machado. I want to wake up to go piss at 3 in the morning and get a tweet, Manny Machado was signed with the Chicago White Sox, and be fucking happy that finally this dude signed somewhere, for Christ's sake. But yeah, dude, it's stupid. I'm pissed off, but what the fuck are we going to do,
I'm ready for it to be over. And you know what, guys? We brought no news and like 2 topics to a 50-minute podcast.
Yeah, that's fun, dude. It's just fun to talk. But I think that's all we got for today.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow. Same shit as always, housekeeping style. Follow us on Twitter. Check out the YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're listening this far, shout out to our 18 listeners or whatever. You know, that's an inside joke we have. I don't know how many people listen to this.
I don't know either because Apple Podcast and Spotify don't have statistics, apparently. I don't know.
But if you're listening this far, we fucking love you. Shout out to you. And yeah, I mean, that's all we got. So thanks for listening.
DM us on Twitter if you're listening. How about that?
Yeah, show us the support. We're probably not going to get any DMs whatsoever, but if we get one, my day will be made.
Oh yeah, same. I'll be so happy.
Oh, and just another thing too, if you haven't turned your Twitter notifications on already for us, we'll be updating more news, sports news for you guys. So just like if we see something, we'll tweet something out just to get another word out. So.
And why wouldn't you want to have your tweet notifications on for us, right? You got Mahoney tweets, the most amazing gifts ever. We got the news coming. We got everything here, Brightlight. Dude, if you want like cookies, just send us an email and we'll make you some cookies and send it to you.
Dude. And you know what? You'll hear each of our own opinions on stuff too.
Yep. Exactly. So that's all we have. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys liked it and have a good one.
Have a good one, guys. See ya.
Perfect.